Hello and welcome back. So it's been a couple weeks or months since the last video of the Solstice and everything about it, so I figured I'd just make one more final one that kind of goes overview of everything. Ever since the last video, the car's been completed completely. It's been on the dyno, it's been tuned, it's been driven very well, and so far it's been holding really good. So really happy with the way everything turned out finally, and kind of just wanted to do a little overview of everything I did and kind of put all those videos together into one, you know. So basically, as you know, it's 06 Solstice. Got it with 8,000 miles and decided to add some boost to it because 160 horsepower is just not enough. So I got a stage pretty much 3 or 4, I don't know what it would be. Basically with the new clutch, it would be a stage 4 turbo kit on it. And as you all know, I went with RPM Motorsports for that bolt-on kit, which ended up being a big old, you know. So I don't know, I don't really recommend them. As far as maybe their other kits, the non-custom ones, maybe those are okay. But from my own experience, and a lot of people have been telling me that it's been nothing but problems for shipping, and you know, I mean, I decided to go and try myself. I figured, well, I'm not gonna judge somebody's company or a person based off of people, what they say, you know. So I gave them a try, and I don't know, if I were to do it again, I would not go with RPM. Ever since it took, you know, 3-4 months to get all my parts, and to this day, I still don't have the parts that I asked for that I never received. Different fittings, water fittings, the turbo ones and all that. I just, you know, I got so tired of it, I bought everything myself, finished up the kit, didn't receive a single dollar back from the company for all the money I spent to finish this, you know, bolt-on kit that I was supposed to get. So that's a little disappointing, but you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying. So I got it finished up. I couldn't just sit and wait around for that many months. I wanted the turbo kit on, done, you know, going. So but it's been almost a year and the car's just been sitting. I don't drive it almost at all. I always got different projects. Like right now I got this Maserati, pretty nice ride, but I'm always finding something that's a good deal, always, you know, fixing it up a little bit and flipping them. So but Solstice is definitely a keeper. I'm not selling that one, and so it'll be around for a while. But so overall, the car on the dyno on low boost, we went up to 10 psi. That was just the regular turbo spring on there on the wastegate. It maxed that at 10. I did not buy a boost controller yet. I figured 10 psi will be good because I want to keep it on the stock clutch for a little bit at least. I mean, it's practically a brand new clutch. You got 8,000 miles on it, so I figured, well, it'll last for a little bit. So threw it on the dyno, told him pretty much max it up all the way at 10 psi. If it doesn't slip or anything, you know, keep it going. So he tuned it at 10 psi, and he got 260 something out of it to the wheels. So that's pretty good. That's roughly what, 320-ish to crank, compared to 160 stock or about 110, 115 wheel. So that's a pretty good increase, and that's strictly from adding the turbo kit on. I didn't do any, you know, drivetrain or anything like that yet. So that's in the plans for next year. I want to get a stage 4 clutch, put that in, and then turn up the boost a little bit more. We'll see what we can get out of that. But so far with what I got on here, he said I'm at 260 and nothing's maxed out. I still have a lot of room to grow. Only thing is the stock clutch obviously does not hold anything more than like 300 horsepower. So I figured, well, we'll keep it at 10 psi. I'm not going to throw a boost controller on just yet. And then we'll just run it like that, see how it goes. So it's been about a month since I had it tuned and dynoed, so it's been running really well. It pulls really strong, nice and smooth, everything. He said I did a really good job making sure everything was tight and on correctly when I did everything. But as you know, I also did the ARP studs. I figured those are going to be necessary, so I might as well do them before I do the kit. That way everything's fresh and new. So I did the ARP head studs. I also did the Works Racing, what are they, like 8,500 RPM tested or something. So something pretty good like that. I got those from Works Racing, Performance Auto Works. I put those on, the ARP studs, and I did the, what is the MLS racing head gasket. So as you know, these things like to blow around 300 horsepower. People always put turbo kits, so like, woo, and then 2 seconds later, yeah, back on the forum, how do you change a head gasket? So I didn't want to be that guy, so I make sure everything was, you know, well made before I actually put the turbo kit on. So now once I did put the turbo kit, I don't have any issues. I mean, it runs, drives, idles really well, smooth. At first I had a tune that Martin sent me over. It was just, I asked him for just a little simple bass tune that I can get it to the tuner, you know, because it was running super lean. And so I never drove it with that tune. I basically put it on so that the car can be able to drive down the street. My tuner is just a couple blocks down actually. So I put it on, I drove it to him, he retuned everything, and he got it up from, I think the other tune put out like 200 or something, then he messed with it a little bit more, and he got it up to 260 with the 10 PSI. So it's running really well. The AFRs are going like a little, you know, maybe 11s, 12s. So when you're on it, and that's good. So I got an AFR gauge on it now, the wideband. I put that on. I really like to know if it's running rich or not. So I got that, I got the boost gauge on, and that's pretty much it for the interior. Everything else is stock, you know, nothing fancy, just a nice 2-gauge pillar, and that's it. Also, that's probably one of the best things you can buy from Performance Auto Works or DDM. So I got the, you know, dual gauge pillar, and it fits perfect. It's made for the car. It's kind of nice, you know, to actually get something that works for once in a while. But put that on, wired everything in, really easy. If you guys have questions about how to wire stuff, I can always show you and tell you exactly what I did. It's really easy. I thought I'm gonna have to run so many wires through the base, you know, through the console over there, because the fuse box is on the passenger side, not the driver's like a normal car would be, obviously. But I had only one wire running through the whole thing to a fuse, and then everything else came off of that line. So if you do have questions, let me know. I can always show you. Very easy to do it. And now you got a wideband and everything. So, and as you know, these cars have 2 oxygen sensors. So first one is always going to be controlled by computer. The second one, you can always, when you're doing the HP tuners, you can take it off and have it not there, and then you can actually put your wideband there instead, and you don't need a third bong. Because I mean, I thought with the kit that RPM gave, they would at least have the third bong, so you can actually put, you know, a wideband on it. Because, you know, when you want to plan over 400 horsepower, I mean, I would assume they would think, well, he's going to need an AFR gauge, right? Well, no. So, but yeah, but overall, I'm happy with what it turned out. All the parts that I ended up getting myself, I knew they were quality. All the stainless steel for the fuel and the oil, feed lines, all that. So I try to do my best, and I mean, it looks good. It drives really well. Temperature stays at about 195, and that's still running a stock radiator, so that's pretty nice. I did add I think it was like 16 ounces of coolant boost from AMSOIL. That stuff works really well. It lowers it about 7-8 degrees from normally it's running at like 200 something. So that always helped me a lot. I did it on my previous one, I did it on this one as well. So instead of running a bigger radiator, I just, you know, run the coolant boost, and it seems to work for now. So besides that, I don't know what else to really talk about, but you've seen all the other videos. I did the exhaust work on it, put the MagnaFlow. I did a straight pipe first, completely from the turbo. Sounded hideous. Man, that thing was loud. Hated it. I mean, I like it a little bit loud, but not, it was just, no. Do not do that, guys. If you're asking if you want a straight pipe at 2.4 Ecotech, do not do it. I mean, do whatever you want, but don't do it. It's really loud. So I ended up putting a MagnaFlow 30-inch glass pack on there, and it actually sounds really well. Idle is like nice and deep, and then when you're driving, it's actually really good. And when you get it on the higher RPMs, it sounds very nice. So there's a couple videos that I'm gonna post and see if I can add into here, so you can see what it sounds like when it's driving by and stuff. But for now, let's go check it out. It's a little dirty, but see what we got for now. Been sitting for a couple weeks. Started it up today. 1, 2, boom, started right up, no problem. Warming it up so I can take it for a little spin. Well, let me show you what the inside looks like, what it looks like completed and done. Well, there you go. Got the A4. You got the boost gauge there. lights or anything like that. Gotta have a radar. And besides that, I think it came up very clean, nice and simple, you know, stock leather seats, all that good stuff. So that'll be it for this. Have questions regarding this build, or you want to do one similar to this, you're always welcome to ask. I can always make another video or just reply to you. But any questions regarding how to do these types of things, if you want to do the ARP studs and whatnot, I actually ended up doing everything myself. I just did it in my garage, so it's not that hard. It's a little extensive with the timing and whatnot, but if you're at least a little bit mechanically inclined, I'm sure you'll be okay. But so yeah, any questions, let me know. As always, like and subscribe, and I'll have more content out there. Maybe a couple of drag races or so coming up, but we'll see. I want to see what this can do with maybe a stage 3 or 4 clutch, so we can turn it up. 260 is not bad, but I think it needs another 100 or so. So we'll see. All right, stay tuned.